Hello, Beauty News family. Welcome to our 2020 Hello, Beauty News family. Welcome to our 2020
But I just didn't expect them to be
We're
as
not
big
recording. Hello, Beauty News family. Welcome to our 2020 trend predictions.
Yes.
So we did this video last year. We're ahead of our time.
We were.
Turns out we reacted to our last year's video last week.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen that, there, down in the description box.
Yeah. And that was interesting because I think we did hit the nail on the head with quite a few big trends.
Yeah.
Some we predicted, but we're surprised at how big those trends became. So for example, we did say that palettes were still going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we knew palettes were still going to be popular, but I feel like last year, especially when we did the Beauty News Awards, palettes was like all people were talking about.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect palettes to come back in such a big way, or boom in such a big way.
Yeah,
but
they were just massive in 2019.
So we did predict that they were going to still be around. But
Yeah.
Wow. So some of them went above and beyond. Some of them we think, they're still in the distance. But it was fun looking back at what we thought was going to be a trend and see if it eventuated. We also asked you guys what you thought were going to be trends for this year. So there are a couple of trends in here that you guys suggested that I was like, I didn't really think about that, but okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about all of that. But let's start with pretty much eyeshadow palette or eyeshadow color stories.
Yeah.
Because since eyeshadows came back in a massive way, and coloured eyeshadows came back in a massive way, colour stories are like a massive thing.
Yes.
Colour trends are huge.
Yes.
So what are some of your predictions?
Look, pastels, we're already seeing it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to have a good chunk of pastel time. Which I'm not here for, but okay.
See, so many people in the comments, that was the thing, pastel, pastel, pastel. And for me, because pastels don't look good on me, I've always ignored them.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, I can see it now that that is something that is definitely coming out. And we did see that Colourpop recently released a mint palette, and I think they hinted in response to a comment a while ago that more pastel palettes will be coming. So I knew Colourpop was going to do it, but now that people mentioned it, I start seeing more pop up, and I'm like, all right, I see it. Mm-hmm. Like you, I'm not down for it.
Yeah.
But I see it.
Yeah.
One that I think is going to come back in a big way, and I'm totally here for it, is revamped nudes.
Yeah.
So nudes were huge 10 years ago, right up until like
maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they started to like die off.
Yeah, and that's when sort of warms and oranges and reds and stuff started coming in, and pops of blue and whatnot. So I think nudes are going to come back in a massive way. I'm hoping for sort of like neutral browns or cool tone browns. But we have started seeing some come up with like, the big Colourpop palette that came out.
Yes. Bare necessities.
Yeah, bare necessities.
Yeah.
So I really feel like nudes are going to be coming back, which I think is great. And I think that also feeds into the fact that because there was so much colour last year, there's a bit of like
colour fatigue.
It's quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's fun to have it and play with it, but at the end of the day, sometimes you want something to come back to that's a little bit easier. So I feel like brands are sort of coming full circle.
Yeah. So last year I mentioned cool tones, and I think we're still going to see that. I don't know if we will actually see it in the way that I want to see it, where it's like everything created into its like cool tone brother or sister. But I do think cool tones are definitely going to make a comeback, especially like in the nude family and stuff like that. I think they will be. We'll see them.
I think that's going to be good though, because when we have seen nudes previously, a lot of them have been golds and oranges and warm tones. Yeah. Whereas what I think I've been
Yellow's
craving...
not a nude. I'm just putting it out there.
True. Or burnt orange is
not a nude.
But what I've sort of been craving for are the cool tone browns and the cool tone taupes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I do really I would love to see a shift into that.
Yeah, because I don't think, traditionally, if we're going back, taupe is a sort of shade that I think fondly of when I think about cool tone nudes. And we don't see them.
No.
You rarely see a proper taupe in an eyeshadow palette these days.
No, you don't see much.
So I think, if there's ever going to be, a nude Colour Story comeback, it's going to be those more cool toned.
Which I'm totally down for. Yeah. I think that also makes sense because last year we saw the Colour Stories of blue coming in really strong.
Yeah.
We saw Icy Betch palette, which look, that's not a good example of it.
No.
But we did see the Blue Blood.
Yeah.
We saw some blue palettes from a couple of blue palettes, I think, from Colourpop. So, I do think blues, and I think since that's been a big trendy colour, I think to go with that, cool tone nudes sort of flow on from that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that will push people into wanting to create cool tone nudes that aren't just grey palettes.
Yeah. Grey's not nude.
Yeah.
If you're a brand and you're watching, getting inspo, grey's not nude.
Yeah.
Grey's grey.
True. Another prediction that we had last year that didn't really eventuate. It eventuated a little bit.
Tiny bit.
But not enough not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And that's green eyeshadows. Now, we did explain in our reaction video that I felt like greens were getting there, but then the trends sort of turned to blue.
Yeah.
Now, a few people in the comments were saying how surprised they were that Jeffree Star can sway people so much. And I think he's good at sort of setting trends a little bit, but also predicting trends that are coming. So I think blue was always sort of at the surface and he just went blue.
With blue, yeah.
But I really feel like if he went with green, that would have exploded green a lot more. But the predictions are that he's bringing out a Blood Money palette this year, which will be a green toned palette. So I do feel like this year, if we're going to start seeing a lot of variations in greens, it could be this year. We predicted it last year. I still think it's once again bubbling to the surface, so that'd be cool to see, but just a prediction. And I think also as an offshoot to what we've seen in the past, so we saw a lot of warm tones, we saw a lot of blue, and I think a lot of people are predicting purples because they tend to pair really nicely with those colour stories. So purples will come as well. So we're thinking nudes, cool tone nudes, purples, and maybe greens.
Purple is interesting, personally, I think, because I think it pairs really well with a nude.
Yeah.
To be fair, I have the colouring and the eye colour that works really well with the purple. So, I can wear it with whatever. But it's one of those colours that complements brown tones or nude tones really, really well. So I think they kind of go hand in hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you do want to inject some colour, that's one of the easiest
purple is a
colours
really
to
good
go
one
with.
to sort of go with.
Yeah.
But problem with purples, and I think we did actually mention this in our trend video last year, that they can be difficult to formulate.
Yeah, they're notoriously the worst colour to formulate. But I also think that they work really nicely with sort of warm tone nudes as well.
They do.
So they just they're a really good complementary shade to warms and cool tone nudes.
For sure.
So I think that it's wise. There have been a few palettes that came out last year, like the Fizzy Art Liaison palette, the Menagerie Violet Ink.
Yes,
but I still feel like there can be more that can be done.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the size of palettes. I reckon capsule palettes, and I know you agree with this, they're going to stay small.
Yeah.
I think small palettes are really going to boom through 2020. We will definitely see big palettes. They're not going to give up on that completely. But I definitely think small palettes are way of the future.
Yeah, I think we'll possibly even start seeing brands bringing out more quads and duos. They used to be wildly popular when I first got into makeup.
Yeah.
And then they sort of took a back seat to singles and palettes. But I feel like brands are now going to start releasing, once again, colour capsules or capsule palettes, whether it be a certain finish or a certain, whatever it might be. So capsules don't have to be just a colour. It could be a multi-chrome capsule palette, a glitter capsule palette,
just be like
a metallic palette.
day and night look palette. Like,
yeah. Like little themed
Yeah.
things that you can have in a drawer and pick out when you want to add that particular theme to your look. So
Yeah.
I do think that there are going to be big palettes, like you said.
Yeah.
If they are big, I would like them to be more nude. So you can have your sort of basic makeup look that can, create a nice grounding sort of look, and then you can add
for
to
every
it.
season, and then add to it with your coloured stuff.
Yeah. A few people predicted that single eyeshadows are going to come back in a big way. I don't feel that.
No.
I feel indie brands have been pushing that for a long time because they're a lot easier to manufacture than palettes. So that's why indie brands often go pan eyeshadows. I think with Makeup Geek's relaunch, people may look into singles again, but I really don't think they're going to come back in a massive way unless, like, you think Cleona brought out their multi-chromes last year that were wildly popular. And I don't even think that got single eyeshadows back on the map.
No.
And if they couldn't do it, I don't think anyone can do it.
Like, here's my opinion of single shadows. I think that's more of a when you're in a certain level of makeup purchasing, if that makes sense. So you are like a beginner and you're shopping the drugstore, and then you're like, ooh, love makeup. Look at this online world of makeup. I'm going to buy from a more expensive brand, mid-range brands, and then you discover indie makeup and you're like, whoa, single eyeshadows, I can create my own palettes. I want to buy them from this brand and this brand and this brand and this brand. And then you might go high end, and then eventually you go, oh shit, I've got enough makeup for like 6,000 people for 20 years. I need to stop. So I think there's always going to be a market for single eyeshadows, but I don't think it's going to really like boom and take off in a way that
agree.
some other makeup items do.
Another thing that a few people predicted, and I think this is fair, I don't know if this is going to be a big trend, but I do definitely think brands are going to start looking at it, is creating more minis. And I think that could be, look, once again, I think we're getting to a point where in our makeup journeys, if you started watching YouTube when we started watching YouTube and getting involved in makeup when we did, you're going to hit a point where you're like, I've got so much and I really don't need much. So I feel like minis are going to be the way to sway people to keep buying.
Absolutely. I think that's, and to be fair, I actually think, okay, first you said you don't think they will really go there.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think you're dead right about that. But I think the brands are dumb if they don't.
That's true.
Because sometimes things release and I'm like, oh, that foundation sounds all right. I got 30 foundations.
Yeah.
Don't need another one. And I'm also at the age where I've got the money to buy whatever I want. But I've also got the self-control and the mental ability to realize that I've got a lot. So, often I'll look at something and I think if there was a mini, I'd buy it to try it.
Yeah.
But another place where I think the brands really flop who do the minis, they're too fucking expensive.
That's true. Anastasia Beverly
You're
Hills
dumb.
did them really well.
Yeah.
We both have a brow pomade gel mini because their mini is half the size and half the price of the full size.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, so this prediction of minis, I like where it's going.
Yeah.
And so I know where people are coming from when they suggest that. I think it's one of those predictions that are ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It's not going to actually happen this year.
You're all beauty news family. You're ahead of your time.
You're ahead of your time.
It's all right. You're amongst company.
Yeah. So I feel like minis, when brands start realizing that people are just not paying for highlighters that are this big or palettes that are this big.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. If you've done a project pan or you've tried to use up a product, you'll realize how long it takes. Yeah. So I feel like the sort of knee-jerk reaction to that will be minis, but I don't think brands have twigged.
No, I think minis will get bigger and bigger, and they have been every year. Like they, brands release more and stuff like this, but I don't think they'll really boom until maybe give it another 2, maybe 3 years. And it might get to the point where there are some brands that know people love their minis, like Anastasia Beverly Hills, who whenever they release a new product, they're like, you can get it in a full size or you can get a little mini travel trial size type thing for half the price, quarter the price, whatever it is relative to the full size product.
They should do that with all their liquid lipsticks.
They should. They should. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because things like, and I think it also depends on how people do minis. Powder products, tube products, you can totally do
Absolutely.
minis. And
mascaras, there's no reason.
There's no issue. My only thing that I sometimes get a bit funny about is bullet lipsticks, because
if they're not manufactured well, they
can break. And minis, because they're smaller and they're weaker, you can just find that you never get through them because they break. So that's the one area where I'm like, okay, they need to really resolve that. But otherwise, mini blushes, mini highlighters, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? No one uses a whole blush. Never happens. Well, rarely happens. So when it comes to, look, we skipped something.
We did.
And it's very important.
We have to talk about it. I have an itchy foot. Sorry, excuse me.
Okay, so we were talking about palettes.
Yes.
Something that is not going anywhere is gimmick palettes. So the food palettes, the pet palettes, the fucking random object palettes, I think that's going to come back, because I think brands are starting to see the popularity of the cute factor, the novelty factor. Oh, this looks like a slice of pizza.
The whale palettes.
The whale palettes.
Nearly
this
got
looks
us.
like, this looks like a teddy bear. This is. So I feel like that is going to not go anywhere.
Yeah, brands will still do it.
Yeah,
and I think we'll see more of it this year.
Yes, I think we'll see more of it. More obscure random shit, which, prepare to be roasted on Beauty News. Well done. Back to packaging.
Yeah.
A lot of people were suggesting eco-friendly packaging or minimal packaging or refillable packaging.
Yeah.
Again, like where that's going, I think it's ahead of its time.
Yeah, I do too, unfortunately. Like, we are starting to see some brands do it. You know, Victoria Beckham Beauty, they've got their little refillable eyeshadow palettes, which
Can you
is
buy
great.
the refills though?
Not yet. Don't worry.
Defeats the purpose a little bit,
No
doesn't
one's gone through that motherfucking palette
That's
yet.
True. That's true.
So yeah, I think we will see it, and like the community is, you know, chomping at the bit for it, but it's going to take brands quite some time to develop the idea about how do we create the packaging that is then refillable. I think it's definitely coming, but also then you've got to get the manufacturers on board and stuff like that. So,
I think it's one of those things where they need a lot of research and development, and that often takes longer than the conceptualizing the concept.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be something that people are demanding. You're starting to see brands send out less bulky packaging when it comes to PR boxes or mailing out products.
Yeah.
So I think brands are starting to get a little bit more clued on with that, but I don't think that's going to be a big revolutionary thing this year. I think it's too soon. I also saw a lot of suggestions for like more clean beauty products. Again, look, I think these are things that are good in theory, and there might be brands that use it as their gimmick.
Yeah.
But I really do feel like when it comes to makeup and skincare, unfortunately, clean doesn't always work. They degrade, they go funky, and, you know, it can be done, like Lush do a lot of sort of clean things.
But their stuff is made to last a couple of months.
Yeah, and their stuff is made locally. You buy it in store.
Yeah.
When it comes to brands that distribute worldwide, it's very
sitting
costly.
on shelves, sitting in warehouses.
So I think it's an interesting concept, but again, I think that's ahead of its time and needs a lot of research and development to actually make these sort of clean products everyday usable. If that makes sense. So
and also the whole issue with like clean beauty and stuff, I'm a bit iffy about it, because it, like, what is the definition of clean? Like, you know,
everyone has a different opinion on it.
That's right. And, you know, these brands are coming out with these clean collections and products, and I'm like, are you offering me any benefits here? Like, realistically, like, what am I getting out of this?
Yeah, I think also, like, I'm a bit like you. I think clean is often a perception.
Yeah, I feel like it's a very misused word.
Yeah, and often I've seen people that you know, and I just know this in my everyday life where people are like, oh, I go for these skincare products because they're natural. But then I had these big reactions and I'm like, yeah, because lavender oil is natural, but it's actually not good for your skin.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of a disconnect between clean and natural things. The concept, they pitch it like it's good for you.
Yeah.
But in reality, lab-created products are often done so they're safer for the skin and more effective for the skin. So, you know, I think brands are going to use it as their marketing strategy. I don't think it's going to take over the world, and I think it's not taking over the world for a very logical reason because they just don't really work as well as people want them to.
Yes. More packaging. This is going to happen this year, and I'm sorry. There's going to be people who are heartbroken like me. Clear frosted packaging. Apparently there is a manufacturer out there who brought this idea to brands and...
Sold it. Must have sold it really well.
Look. You fools! You fools! You fell for it.
Yeah.
MAC's got a collection coming out in February that will feature clear and frosted clear packaging. It looks like trash. We had the one from Hourglass for the holiday season. We're already starting to see that packaging fail across some of those products, and I'm not here for it.
Yeah, so that's Hailey's prediction with
Yeah.
clear frosted packaging. And my question is, what happens if they put glitter in it?
Look, it'd probably look really cool, but you need to, like, I feel like if you're going to have a new packaging concept, you have to put it through the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be like, looks cool, feels sturdy. Like, you have to actually have someone who is using the product, opening it, applying it, closing it, putting it in their bag, maybe
Mm-hmm.
dropping it from a bench top. Like, you need to test this stuff. You need to make sure that it's actually functional, because if someone is paying $50, $60, $70 something or more for an item and it's cracking because you're putting a lipstick cap back on.
Yeah, I've seen that actually
That's
happen
a
to quite a
problem.
few people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
not
happened
even-
to mine.
yeah.
I'm just like, you fucking what?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's packaging
Not
prediction.
happy, Jan.
Yeah, I'm also going to say that I think glitter is not going to stop this year.
No, it's not. And I think the brands are fools. I think they have it in their head that glitter is the next big thing and we put it in everything. Last year we said that we love glitter. We were all for glitter. Give us eye safe glitter. But look, I think they just took it to a place that we were not meaning for them to go.
Yeah, I think also the problem was that, like we said in our reflection video, is that I think we were predicting nice glitter. Whereas I think what we've been bombarded with is glitter for the sake of glitter.
Yeah.
And let's put glitter in something because it is
Glitter.
and that's a draw card. And I don't think that's what we meant by nice glitter. So I feel like glitter is still going to come. I don't think it's going to get any better.
No.
I
don't think the brands are...
No.
I think it's a bit beyond them, to be
Yeah,
honest.
but I also feel like the brands that are going to be dragging their feet with glitter are going to be the ones bringing out cheap glitter. So you're going to find some really like trashy drugstore glitter products and glitter lipsticks and whatnot. We've seen them from Pat McGrath, and we've seen them from, you know, all these other sort of higher end brands that have tried to make it a little bit more refined, and we didn't even like those.
No.
So I think the ones that are dragging their feet are going to be like Morphe bringing out a glitter palette, which I did for New Year's Eve. So that's not entirely wrong. So I just feel like it's going to just get shitterier and shitterier. For base, this was a prediction that Hailey had last year.
Yeah.
It didn't eventuate as much. Looking back, it did eventuate a little bit, but I still think
Not as much as I thought it would.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So it is the more dewy finish makeup, the more natural finish makeup, less heavy caked on makeup, which is actually not me today, so who the fuck am I to talk?
Oh, I'm caked on to the max.
I'm so caked that I had neck creases.
Major cake.
It was a combination of too many layers of skincare and a bad foundation. It is what it is. Sometimes it happens. But I am hoping that we do get to see that a little bit. I think we're always going to have the Insta baddie style, like glow up kind of thing. But I'm hoping that we do start to see more of that coming into the general mainstream, like beauty influences and brand releases.
Yeah. And I think, look, that's fair. And once again, if it hasn't come this year, I think it's on the cards.
Yeah.
I always think there's two camps. I think there's always people that want a high coverage long wear.
Absolutely. I agree.
Like I'm wearing today, because if I wore a low coverage, like embrace your natural skin. People would be in the comments being like, what is wrong with your face?
Yeah.
So,
are you thick?
Are you thick? Why is that oily? Did you put highlighter everywhere? Why did you put highlighter on your chin? We've had that before.
I've had that comment before. Why is there a highlighter on your nose?
Yeah. Why would you put it on your chin?
Yeah. Why is it on your cheeks? That's not where you highlight. It's not the high point. Honey, it's oil. I'm sorry.
So, so there's always going to be people that need the fuller coverage because they have skin concerns. There's always people that need long wear because that's what their skin requires. But there's always the camp of more minimal looking makeup. And I think that's always going to continue. So you could predict both.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose if wherever you sort of lie in that preference, whether you're one or the other, you probably do see more of that type of thing because you're actively searching for it. Whereas I'm sort of smack bang in the middle. I'm like, what's good here and what's good here? I want to know both. So
I think, look, from what I've seen last year, there's been dewier foundations that have come out and they haven't like wowed people.
No.
So I'm really hoping that technology these days will create some really good innovations in the lower coverage, dewy sort of realm, because I would love to use those if they last.
Yeah, absolutely.
So make a good one that doesn't melt off my face and I will be there for you. So once again, I think it's more about what developments happen in each of those
in the technology field.
Because I think last year we had some pretty good full coverage long wear foundation innovations, but I don't think we saw it so much in the dewy. So I don't know if it's coming this year, but I do think that is something that people are working towards, hopefully. Another thing to do with face. So we did discuss in our reactions to our 2019 predictions that we were a bit surprised that highlighters sort of just fell flat. We were sort of expecting more sparkly, interesting highlighters, and I feel like there were no interesting highlighter releases last year. And a few people suggested that maybe blush will be the next big thing. And I think that is a smart prediction. Again, I think this year is probably a little bit early. I think it's going to come. But when I look back, we had contouring as being a huge thing about 10 years ago. Then we had highlighting as being a major thing that lasted like 5 years. So blush has been ignored in that time. And there's been no real interesting blush releases or innovations that have happened. So I feel like blush is the next thing to take off. Because it's one of those steps that people sort of forget now, but blushes can be really beautiful. But I don't think they've brought out anything new in the last 10 years.
They haven't innovated it.
No.
Which means it's just stagnant.
And people are like, I've got blush. I don't need to buy that one. So I really feel like even like the Cover FX, those blush duos, half matte, half shimmer, I think if brands sort of are really smart with their color choices, really flattering finishes, maybe different textures, like you're starting to see people bring out more liquids and mousses and some interesting things. I think blushes could definitely be the next face product that is really trendy. I know a lot of people mentioned in the comments that they really like yellow blush and like more unique colors. So I think that is on the cards. I think we'll start seeing that direction in 2020, but I think once again, it's a little bit beyond. I'm not sure if it will eventuate this year, but I do think eventually, like, brands are going to have to start picking it up because otherwise you're stale as fuck. I totally agree. And a few other people suggested multi-purpose items that they think will be coming out. I like where that's going. I don't think it's going to come out as a big thing.
No.
And maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about sort of like minimal purchasing.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that then. But the last sort of big thing that, like, we've been talking a lot about things that we think, oh, this is a trend that's happening, but it's not going to eventuate just yet.
It's not going to like boom.
Yeah, but I also feel like that's because last year, when we look back at releases, it was kind of boring. I don't feel like there was much released. Like, there was a lot released, but I don't feel like there was anything innovative.
The flop of the year.
It was just like a sort of year. So I feel like maybe if we were coming off the back of a really productive year where there was like really cool stuff that had come out, we would have a little bit more faith in brand, like products moving trends and creating new stuff. But we could barely think of anything innovative that came out last year.
I know.
So I feel like we're sort of still.
Who does lash glue?
Yeah, maybe.
What happened to that?
I've never seen anyone try it, but I suppose I haven't Googled it, so
no, that's fair.
I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I sort of feel like on the back of such a lackluster year, we don't really have much faith that brands are going to do anything interesting.
Yeah.
Which I think is a bit of a shame. But what we do know for a fact, and this is a trend that is building, is just like themed collections and themed makeup.
Yeah. So, basing a collection around
random event.
X. Yes, random event. You might have, well, we did have, which was massive, Pride.
Yes.
Huge. Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
Huge.
Last year, I think if we were lucky, if we saw maybe half a dozen releases from Western brands.
Yeah.
This year, we could have done a whole episode on brands releasing products in Chinese New Year packaging. Yeah. Last year, we saw the massive boom of April.
Yeah,
with
420.
420.
Yeah.
So Every Man His Dog was releasing a sort of weed-related collection or product or palette or lip product or skincare item in that month. And we hadn't seen that the year before.
No, we saw a few things, but they were coming from brands that already associated with that type of vibe.
Yeah.
But what I also think is going to be really interesting is I think we're going to see a decrease in like typical or traditional themed things, Christmas themed stuff.
Yeah, that's been on a decrease. Last year that was on
Halloween.
Yeah, there was not much Halloween last year.
We didn't see much Halloween, and if you compare it to the previous year, huge decrease. Even Thanksgiving stuff.
Yeah.
Usually that is quite big. Not as much in Australia, obviously, but we report on that type of news as well.
Yeah.
And we just didn't really see it. So I think we're going to see a decrease in the traditional holiday type themed collections and more like it's International Rub Your Friend's Belly Day and see if the baby will kick. I also think we will see more failed TV movie type collaborations. So we had Urban Decay, Game of Thrones. Yeah. We had Besame, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
We had Avengers Everything.
Oh. Cringe.
That
was bad. That was already in the bargain bin at Sephora.
Yeah. Even to be perfectly fair, the Pat McGrath Star Wars thing, that was a bit of a people were not really impressed, but that was more the brand letting the team down. So people were really disappointed, left a bad taste in their mouth. And I actually think that that's going to continue. I hate to be the person that says this, but I just don't think we can trust brands.
Look, that's fair, but I also think from a different perspective, taking devil's advocate a little bit, I think when you announce a collaboration with a very loved property, expectations are extremely high.
Yeah.
If a brand brought out a Harry Potter collection, I can assure you that will sell out in minutes,
a second,
flat.
Yeah.
But there are going to be videos online talking about how disappointed they are and how shit the collection was. Yeah. So once again, I think normal makeup, people go, is it functional? Do I like wearing it?
Yeah.
All of a sudden you put a label on it and charge a premium because you're paying for the rights to use that property. And people start going, did I need this?
Yeah.
Do I feel like I've been ripped off?
Yeah.
So
did you really just like sour something that was so precious to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You put a bad taste in my mouth because now I don't have my money and I've got just shit sitting here and I don't know what to do with it. So I feel like they're destined to fail almost.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you that I feel like properties like that are going to create more makeup collaborations because similar to how we talked about last year, that influencers and celebrities and whatnot creating collections is sort of the next big cash grab, and it's a sort of cliche thing to do. And we did see a lot of it last year, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of it this year. But I feel like properties are starting to realize, we can make merchandise where we normally wouldn't make merchandise, and we can sell a lot to this really enthusiastic buying audience who also love our property. So yeah, I do agree with you. I think there's so many that have probably been in the works for quite some
long time. Yeah, I reckon we'll see a lot in 2020.
So even though we might start seeing some failures, once again, brands look at the what they made from the collection. They go, we report back on, look how much money we made.
Yeah.
They don't look at, people were unhappy with the brush or
people hated it.
People didn't like.
They don't care about that.
They don't care about that because they made their money. Yeah. So I feel like there's going to be a lot in the works right as we speak. So we're going to see a lot of it. A lot of people are going to hate it, and it's going to take some time for brands to pull back.
Yes.
Yeah, same as influencer collaborations.
Oh, yeah. We'll see more of them.
So when it comes to other themes, so like you said, I think weed themes, food-related makeup. I think gemstones and astrology is not going to go anywhere.
No, I don't think that'll go anywhere. And I think other brands, and not just Kathleen Lights, but I think other brands will pick it up.
Yes.
We have seen a few other, like we saw the Mac Pony collection that was tarot themed. BH Cosmetics with their astrology shit.
The year before was Bite.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Yeah, but I think that's going to keep going because I think also if you can, especially the astrology stuff, if you can tailor a product to a person that has a personal connection to it.
Yeah.
So whether it is your star sign or whatever it might be, your gemstone of the month of birth that you were born in, all of a sudden it is more giftable for people who have that association. Yeah. And it's builds a bit of a personal connection with buying a product. So I think there'll be more of that, unfortunately. I don't think pops of blue and pops of colour are going to go anywhere.
No, they'll still be here. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I think pressed glitter's going to still be everywhere.
Pressed glitter will still be around.
Until we see some big lawsuits happening. Is what it is.
That.
All right, we were just proof watching this video and then realised, we forgot one of the major predictions that we've been complaining about for a few weeks now, and that is colour changing lip balms. I don't know why they've come back. I have no idea. I remember them from the late 80s, early 90s, but for some reason the colour changing lip balm trend has started to come back, and we predict that it's going to be around this year. So I don't know why. I don't get it. But we expect to see a lot more lip balms that turn into that garish shade of pink that I don't really think looks flattering on many people, but that's a trend prediction. Another, probably the last trend we're going to talk about that a lot of people brought up, and I think this is totally a huge trend that's coming. It's not a product release trend, it's just a vibe, like a consumer trend, and that's a low buy, no buy, minimal purchasing, sort of more conscious, mindful purchasing. And I think that's definitely a huge thing this year, but I don't think that's going to stop brands, because I did see some people speculate that they think that brands will stop making so much and will start making instead multi-purpose products that you can use on your lips and your cheeks, and things that you can minimize your collection with. Again, that could be the marketing strategy for a brand. Yeah. Something like Glossy or something. Yes. But I don't feel like that brands will cater to that for a few reasons. one, multi-purpose products historically don't do well.
Yeah.
People will use them for one purpose, and that they don't do well.
Yeah.
Secondly, brands want to sell things. And even though people have changed their mindset about how much they want to purchase, and I don't want to purchase a new thing every week.
Yeah.
Stop selling me that shit, Colourpop.
Yeah.
Consumers have made up that sort of, has made that choice. If you get to a point where you've had fatigue.
Yes, that's a personal
it's
thing.
It's a personal
though.
thing.
And I think the reason why so many people are going through it at the same time and you are seeing it so consistently online is because you get a little bit of a, Kat and I were around the same age. So we're sort of on the same wavelength with where we've been with makeup and our journey with it.
I also think it's not to do with age because
but
people older or younger can have the same feelings because we all got into the makeup community at the same time.
Exactly.
So we got into the community probably about 8 to 10 years ago when it was starting to boom.
Yeah.
And it was starting to pick up and it was the really interesting thing and purchasing. And so I think it's a journey that everyone has to have individually.
Yeah.
So you start, you get excited, you buy things because you're excited. You start learning that those things aren't working for you, so you curb your spending a little bit. And then you sort of, and I think it gets to a point where you start going, I don't need as much stuff as I currently have, or I really like the stuff that I have, so I'll just use it. But that's a personal journey. I don't think it's a market journey.
No,
if that makes sense.
And you, being a Beauty News viewer, you have probably watched us along our journey with that. You're seeing other people go on it.
Yeah.
It's making you think about your own journey. And it's just a little cycle. You fall into it's a little bit of a mob mentality, to be honest. Like you sort of surround yourself with people doing this thing and you start to go, I think that might be a thing that I also want to do. It's a bit inspiring. It's taking back your power, taking back your money.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, there's always going to be younger generations coming up underneath us to get into that.
They get into the excitement.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've met so many of them. Yeah, I've met so many of them, even just bumping into them at shops, and they're like, "Oh, Kat, da da da," and they're like, "I bought this, and I just bought this, and I'm so excited because I bought that." And I'm like, "You're in the exciting phase."
Yeah,
and that's
such
nice
a good
place to be.
That is such a fun place to be. If you can afford it, you can manage that, then it's a great place to be. You should enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because that is actually the time where you are going to learn the most invaluable lessons about makeup.
Yeah.
You're going to learn about your skin type, what works for you, what doesn't, what colors suit you, how to apply your makeup in the best way. That part of being...
It's experimenting.
It is. And it's critical because if you don't go through that, you never learn.
Yeah.
So,
and I've had a few people ask me things like... what's the best way to start out? What do I buy? What do I look for? And I'm like, well, you have to actually try pretty much whatever takes your interest and see what works for you and see what doesn't. It's a trial and error process because everyone is different. Your skin type is different. Your preferences are different. Your coloring is different. Everything is different. So it is something that you have to trial and go through, buy stuff, enjoy stuff, throw out stuff, learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
But once again, just because a lot of people are feeling that now and it's a shift in the beauty community on social media, I don't actually think it's a trend in the general consumer sort of sphere.
Yeah.
And even if it does translate to the general consumer sphere, brands don't care. They're not going to release one item a year because they're trying to support your minimal purchasing. They see what Colourpop does and they go, they're making millions and billions of dollars. That is a marketing strategy that works, and that's what we're going to do as well.
Yeah.
So, and also, but the excuse is always going to be, look, I'm happy to release 20 products. You can choose to buy one.
Yes.
But I'm giving you the option.
Or that's where this minimal, multi-purpose beauty is going to come in. They're going to try and manipulate it to, hey, look at us. We created this multi-purpose collection of 10 products that can do everything in your routine. You should buy it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And throw out everything else.
Yeah.
It's all
Just buy
you need.
this. Just buy us.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the old school sort of, you go to a makeup counter and they just tell you don't need anything you're using.
Else.
All you need is this
Yeah.
10-step routine.
Correct.
So
from Clinique.
Yeah.
Or
so,
MAC.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's, once again, it's not, they're going to still try to sell you shit.
They are.
They might use minimalism as a marketing gimmick.
Yeah.
But once again, the vibe of the community is getting to low buy, use your stuff, appreciate what you have, but that's not what brands are going to do.
Yeah, that's growth within you, within us. That's not ever going to be growth within a brand. They are going to have master manipulators trying to work out how to use that.
Yeah.
Like that little seed that's growing inside you. How can we appeal to that to make you want it? It's like a magpie with the shiny things.
Yeah.
They need to work out how to use that to make you buy stuff.
And they will.
And they will. Yeah.
So, I think that definitely is a huge trend in the community, but brands aren't going to respect it.
No, they won't.
So we're not going to lose a job anytime soon.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Next week on Beauty News, we're going to talk about 2 releases.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Only 2. We talk about them for half an hour each.
We would actually.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Just means
let's just pick it all apart.
We get to critique it even more.
Yeah.
Fucking bring it on.
Yeah, I agree.
No, brands need to keep releasing all of the trash because that's what really keeps us in the job. The trash. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to leave any more of your predictions down in the comment section. We definitely want to read them. Maybe we could come back in 6 months and do a little
6-month prediction.
Yeah, or maybe we could do like a update of your comments of what you think is going to release in 6 months.
And see if they've come out.
Yeah, maybe. Reacting to your comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe. Could do it.
We might do that.
Leave comments.
Leave comments. What's happening in 6 months? We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.